We got a new GM today. We got people hiding guns and titties. We've got a team that is possibly going to lose 100 games this season.
Yeah.
So the only thing we can do in this type of situation is give you my Sock Summer story time. MSS, take it away, my friend.
Now, folks, tonight's story is not about baseball. It is not about sports. Well, I mean, maybe water sports. It's not about anything. It's about an adult entertainer, an adult actress. Okay? So shut off the podcast now if you don't want to hear me talk about a famous adult actress from the 2000s, because I'm going to talk about it. And tonight, in MSS Story Time, we're going to ask the question, what happened to Brandy Talore? Now, her last name is spelled Taylor. It's Taylor, but it's spelled, or it looks like it's spelled Talore, but it's Taylor. But I'm going to assume that I'm going to fuck this up 3 times while I'm reading the story. Brandy Talore was a fixture in adult films in the mid-2000s. Hailing from Toledo, Ohio, Brandy started doing some modeling for a local car parts store after giving birth to her first child. Gaining some traction with the modeling gigs and looking to capitalize on local fame, she started dancing at a local gentleman's club and dabbling in nude modeling. As these things go, she continued doing this for a few years before she making the jump to hardcore movies at the fine age of 22 in 2003. Oddly, she got her family's blessing before she got into the industry. Her start in the industry started off with a bang, literally. She was the featured cover girl in her first adult film, Stacked and Packed, Volume 5. After nearly 50 scenes, she won the FAME, which is fame, Fans of Adult Media and Entertainment Award for Favorite Rookie Starlet of the Year in 2006. In 2007, she was runner-up for Booby Girl of the Year. Things were looking great for Brandy.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
50 scenes, still rookie.
Yes.
Okay. Just checking. Checking.
It was like literally, like it was an insane amount, and I just started counting, and I got to 50, and I was like, you know what? Or I got to 40 something, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna assume that it's 50 scenes. Okay.
It's like Curtis Martin getting 350 carries his rookie year.
Absolutely.
Now she worked with some of the biggest names in the industry during that time, including Gianna Michaels, Sarah Stone, Carmela Bing, Angela White, which if you look at pictures with her with Angela White back then, you don't recognize that Angela White if it's the same Angela White as today. You should go look that up. Not on a work computer, though. Whitney Stevens, Brie Olson, and one of my very favorite people, J Mac. She's worked for Bang Bros, Naughty America, Reality Kings, and Brazzers. She also received some mainstream fame when the late Howard Stern Whack Pack member, Eric Lynch, a.k.a. Eric the Midget, a.k.a. Eric the Actor, a.k.a. Derek from Texas, called in and demanded to talk to her. They were trying to get him to float with balloons. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this bit, but Eric the Midget, and that's what they called him. He's a little guy. He was 3'4". He was pigeon-toed. They wanted him to come on the show and attach his chair to a bunch of balloons and float him into the air. So one of the demands that he made was, I will do it, but I need to have a date with Brandy Talore. And so they got her on the show, and she said that she would go out with them. You know, it was very nice. She's a very, very bubbly girl back in the day there. And they never ended up like getting together to do the date. He actually canceled it because he wasn't going to go fly with balloons. But she got on the show a few times back in these days, and that is huge for an adult actress back in the 2000s to get on Howard Stern. And internet porn was just like at like the all-time greatest level. Like, you know, they always say like 90s was like the best like decade for music, you know, like, well, our guys say that. And if your internet porn at that point in the mid 2000s was just flying. It was flying high. So anyway, after a decade in the business, Brandy retired in 2013, but came out of retirement in 2017 to do a video with Bang Bros, a BTRA joint. And if you know what BTRA is, you had LimeWire. She's been working independently with her OnlyFans, and there has been some interesting developments since her retirement. It's unclear when, but at some point she married the father of her second child. That father is incarcerated and has been since 2012. Ooh. With an expected release date in 2028. He is in jail for possession of drugs, which was a shitload of cocaine. Like the guy's like in his sentencing is like, that's a lot of drugs, and even when you're not even selling them. So he just was holding a ton of drugs, and aggravated burglary. He broke into somebody's house. And slashed the person up. So he was, not good.
That does sound aggravated. I agree.
A little aggravated. In the sentencing video, you can see Brandy in the background, which is very interesting. And he takes full responsibility for his actions, asking his wife and family not to be blamed for anything that he did. And, it was all his doing, and he was ready to serve his time. And he only said, "You know what I'm saying," to the judge about 700 times while he was doing this speech. So I'm not going to talk too much shit about him because he would probably kill me. So anyway, he takes it. Around that time, Brandy was also arrested. There's like old mug shots, and but I couldn't find any of the reasons why she was arrested. So she was arrested, but we just don't know why. If you go on the internet message boards, though, about her in this time period too, a lot of stories came out about her doing escorting, feature dancing around the country, and scamming tons and tons of fans out of money. She would require a deposit for a fan to come meet her. And I think it was like, I think I read somewhere it was like $800 for to engage in sexual activity with her chest. And she would require half of it up front and then never contact the person again. So, and she also took credit cards. So it's a lot of smoke around what's happening business there. So, potentially that's true. Now, just the other day, I go on Reddit a lot, and I was going through the Howard Stern thing, little room, the threads, and while I was in there, like her mugshot like popped up, the one that we did at the beginning of the thing here on the right. And she's tatted up like Post Malone with that face tattoo. And I was like, oh my God, what is fucking going on with Brandy Talore? And this is what sparked this. So I was like, I got to go look into it. So I did some investigating. And it appears that she was just arrested on August 25th, which, if you're playing at home, was 6 days ago. Now, she was arrested for contributing to the delinquency of a child, not a minor, a child. So now this can mean all sorts of things. She could just be the only adult with a bunch of kids that are partying that are all underage, or she could be the person supplying the person with the drugs or the alcohol. Now, she just got booked, and it's also kind of odd that she's not up for release until November 23rd. So she's got to spend 2 months or 3 months in jail before she'll get released or get bonded out. I don't know. It didn't say that she was eligible for bond, so I'm not exactly sure. Now,
well, they're gonna have to sell all that cocaine to get her out of bond.
That's right. They got to move that,
According to all her OnlyFans stuff and whether she is definitely hurting for money. There's several GoFundMes out there for her to bail her, daughter out of prison or bail herself out of jail. So yeah, I think the cocaine money is way gone at this point. I don't think she diversified her investments. She probably put it all in that cocaine, and then that got taken away, and that's a hard stock market crash.
Should have worked with Wu-Tang Financial, man. She fucked up.
This story would be crazy if that's where it ended, but it did not. So while I am investigating and doing all this stuff, I'm looking into the previous arrests, and I'm trying to find old mugshot photos. And when it comes up and you're looking at the one of her old mugshot photos, guess who pops up? Oh, it's her 18-year-old daughter's OnlyFans. And how do I know that it's her daughter? Because she is promoting her 18-year-old daughter's OnlyFans on her Twitter page. So she has her OnlyFans, and if that's not enough, if you want to see Brandy Talore's daughter do OnlyFans, you can for a pretty reasonable rate from what I could tell. I don't do OnlyFans, but it seemed like it was pretty easy. So she started her adult entertainment career in 2021 at 18. And you can do your own investigation on her name. I'm not going to give that out. I think this is kind of creepy. But I literally have never seen a mother-daughter, legit mother and daughter team in porn. This is my daughter.
I thought you threw legit in there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's tons of those, and there's alleged sisters. You got your Britney and Whitney Stevens, which I don't really think are real sisters, but But yeah, so like there's guys saying, "Hey, are you guys ever going to shoot together?" They're like, "Dude, no, we are not going to shoot together, thankfully." And she says that she is not a fan of her daughter's decision to do pornography, but she says she's an adult and she has to make her own decisions and do this. Now, having a mom who is a very uber famous porn star definitely paves the way for her career to kind of like take off and have some success. They don't really talk about it, but they have a pretty interesting interactions on Twitter. One guy tweets and says, "I just heard that so-and-so is actually Brandy Talore's daughter." And the daughter responds like, "Yep, that's my mom." And then Brandy responds right to after it and goes, "Hey, that woman's a whore. Stop talking about your whore mom and go bring your ugly kids over to my house. I want to say hi to them." It's just it's just some funny stuff. One of the most recent interactions that they had on Twitter right before Brandy got arrested was she was yelling at her daughter through Twitter, through tweets, telling her to go pick her up some sunflower seeds and a nice cold pop. It was quite the scene. I definitely think you should go check it out. And that is by far the craziest thing that I have come across on the internet this week. And there was so much to it. I told these guys we were going to do like a quick little thing. I can do a whole story on this motherfucker. And that's what's going on with Brandy Talore.